I have a Whirlpool cabrio and I seem to be having the same issue lots of others are having with the UL code. My bearings were worn out and a lot of grease had leaked out, so my repair guy replaced all the bearings and such and said that should fix the problem. It didn't. Worked well for a day or two, then kept getting UL again. Then he thought maybe the sensor had gotten wet from before, so he changed that out. And again, same issue, it worked really well for a day or two. Now I'm back with the same problem. Have read about the suspension rods wearing out, but he doesn't seem to think that's my problem. Said the suspension was an issue in the models before mine and they fixed it. He says I have the newer suspension, so that shouldn't be the problem. I don't know what to do now. I've put a lot of money into this washer and it's only 3 years old, but don't know what the next step is. Any advice?
Hello, I'm Joel and we'll be glad to help you today. Okay, so the UL error code can be caused by many reasons: bad bearing, a tub shaft that has built up soap scum on it so the tub does not float properly to engage the spin cycle, a bad control board which is rare, a bad rotor position sensor. It seems all those things have been covered by your technician. The only thing really left besides a bad main control board is a cracked stator, the drive motor for the system. Click here for image. The center of the stator is plastic, and in some cases it can get hairline cracks in it, causing the entire stator to be off balance when it spins, causing the UL error. The smallest hairline crack can cause the stator to become unbalanced. The stator can be pulled off and examined for cracks. This is the most likely issue at this point. We are on the honor system here. Rating me does not affect what you agreed to pay for the question, and will not have any effect on what you have already been billed for unless you request a phone call. Feel free to get back to me with any questions you may have, but in the meantime I would appreciate you going ahead and rating the answer, as this is the only way I get compensated for my time. Thanks. After you have rated/voted the answer, you will be sent an email with a link that will allow you to get back to me for any follow-up questions free of charge. It will not close the question. Please know, I have nothing to do with your payment to the site and did not receive that money. I am just a technician on the site that is here to help assist you and have nothing to do with billing. Note: please read. When you rate/vote my answer, you have to click on the star vote/rate system at the top of your screen. Thank you. Tips are not expected but are greatly appreciated.
Is this a common problem with the cabrios? Seems to be one of the most Googled questions about it. Just seems so odd to me that it will work perfectly for a day or two after my guy works on it, and then it goes back to having issues. Right now I'm at the point where I am probably getting the UL code about half the time. It will occasionally spin out. If the stator was cracked, does that make sense, or would you think I would get the UL code all the time?
Yes, that makes sense. The UL error code is very sporadic with a cracked stator. Thank you for the rating, and let me know what they find. Also, if you are capable of doing this yourself, I will be glad to give you instructions. Just let me know.
I don't know if I'm brave enough to attempt to do it myself. Was hoping maybe I could get at the stator to at least look for a crack, but assume it's quite a task to take it apart that far to get to it. And not sure my repair guy would be happy with me if I did that. And don't know how he will feel if I bring up the stator. Just wanted another opinion, as I am not entirely sure he will know what to do next, as he seemed to think changing the sensor would fix everything. Maybe when he had it all apart to change the bearings he looked at the stator, it was okay. I don't know. Assuming if it is the stator, that's another expensive fix. I've already put over $400 into repairs.
Well, yeah, it's not cheap considering you have already spent that much money on the machine. You could have bought a new one by the time you invest in the stator. You can get them on Amazon for $125.00 with free shipping, so that on top of whatever the labor charge will be. And if he supplies the stator, there will likely be an upcharge on the part as well, all tax upcharge on parts. And if it's not the stator, then it very well may be the suspension rods on the unit need to be replaced. It's hard to just say no, they are good, especially when you keep having the intermittent UL error.
That's what I thought. I would have just given up and gotten a different washer, but this one is only 3 years old and my technician told me this is the one to have. He seems to think it's one of the best washers on the market. After Googling, I thought about just changing the suspension rods myself, but then I saw some grease under the machine, so I figured I had a bigger problem than just the rods.
Was it rusty looking water? I will assume so, since the tub seal and bearing was replaced. So yeah, the water had been linking into the stator for some time then, and it is very likely the stator was damaged and cracked.
Yeah, rusty looking. He hasn't mentioned stator to me at all. With regards water leaking, he said it possibly got the sensor wet, which was why we replaced that.
Yeah, it won't hurt to ask him about the stator. Just mention you are still in getting the error and you read online that a cracked stator can cause that error, and ask him if he check it. Of course, if he is tired of fooling with the machine, he will just tell you he did, unless you know that he's trustworthy.
I know. I have had him as my go-to repair guy for years. He has always seemed trustworthy to me. He seemed somewhat stumped when I called him again after he did the bearings that I was still having a problem. I know he has called some friends who he says know more specifics about whirlpools, so at least he has been honest about that.
Yeah, sounds like he just got stumped and was honest, so I am sure he would be honest with you. Well, let me know what you find out. Thanks again.
Not sure how much more I can afford. If the stator is cracked and I don't get it repaired right away, do I run the risk of doing more damage to the washer? I'm thinking my guy only thinks the suspension rods are bad if the washer is making a lot of banging noises, as he keeps asking me that.
No, if the stator is cracked, the only thing that will happen is the code will become more often and often as the stator gets worse, until you won't even be able to wash a load eventually. The suspension rods being bad will make the tub hit the sides of the washer frame and bang, but they will just be completely shot at that point, but they do not have to be that bad to cause the machine to become unbalanced at times.
Okay. I haven't heard banging, but I do hear what I would call a clunk when it's trying to readjust the load to be able to spin it. Didn't know if that was a normal sound or if maybe that means a rod is going. I don't remember hearing that sound when the washer was new.
Nah, that noise is normal when they get some wear on them.
Gotcha. Sorry I keep bothering you. So nice to pick someone's brain about this. Appreciate it.
No problem, you are welcome.
I got an F code for the first time ever tonight. No number after it, just F. Heard more clunking than usual before the code came up too. What does that mean?
There should have been a number with the F code. Do you know what the number was?
There was no number. Just the F.
Kent says without the number, but it sounds like the tub is not engaging correctly. Did he change the bearing and tub shaft, or do you know? The kit should have looked like this with all the bearings and a new tub shaft. Click here. If he didn't replace them all, it was a waste of time, to be honest.
Yeah, he changed all that. Googled it and someone else said that the F code means the control board is bad. It was old post from 2009. Oh, I'm so frustrated.
Well, like I said in my initial statement to you, that is one of the things that could be causing a repeated UL code. If the control board is falsely interpreting the information coming from the RPS sensor, then yeah, that could be an issue. In all honesty, at this point, you should probably ask the guy who did the work to at least refund the labor charge, because the unit is not fixed at this point and any company should stand behind their work. Then go buy you a new one and get away from that lemon. I say that because you could dump more money into it buying a control board and it end up being a wiring issue.
I just don't know what to do. Had seen on an answer here that a tech had said Whirlpool had been reimbursing for repairs to the control panel because it had been so common of a problem. My husband just texted with someone at Whirlpool who was of course no help. I unplugged the machine for a while and just tried to use it. It's really messed up now, making really loud banging noises, so something is really wrong. I am ready to throw the thing out the window. If you were buying a new washer, would you get a cabrio? I had been very happy with it up until this happened. And I talked to all kinds of repair guys and salesmen, and this was the one they told me to get.
Well, being a technician, I would never buy any of the new washer, to be quite honest. Too many electronic control boards and they are not built to last at all, none of them. You are lucky to get 5 years out of any of them without replacing $200 to $300 control boards. Then they all have wiring issues, etc., etc. This goes for every last one of them, all brands. Now you do not have to follow my advice, but the best washers are still available on the used market and can be found on Craigslist or through a local used appliance dealer. The Kenmore 90 series washer. Click here for image. You can pick them up rebuilt with a warranty for around $200 or less. They have no electronics, the drive system is simple, every tech on the planet knows how to work on them, the parts are cheap, even if you have to replace the transmission they are like 75.00 rebuilt. As far as the new ones go, take your pick and buy the longest warranty possible and hope for the best. Here is a better image of one, click here. And if you just have to buy a new one, buy a Speed Queen, they are the best built washers on the market today, click here. And here is the new Speed Queen model I recommend. Stay away from the ones with the electronic control panel. Its model, on 432 SB113 TW04, click here.
That's what I thought you would say. I had an old one like that ran forever. My repair guy that I used to have couldn't understand why I was so sad when it completely died. I knew I would never find another one like it. Think this is my third washer since that one, and it's only been about 12 years since I had to get rid of it. When I got this one, the guy said the cabrio was the only heat-top loader that he would ever buy.
Yep, that is the last washers that Whirlpool made that was worth anything.
Well, just had my repair guy here again. Apparently the nut and bolt that hold the shaft in had come loose. He seemed really surprised about that. He put some adhesive in there this time to hold it, so hopefully that does the trick. Guessing he didn't use any or enough the last time he did the repair. I remembered when he threw out the old parts that there was an almost completely full tube of adhesive that he threw out. So guess we'll see what happens. Totally expect to get the UL code again. There was a bunch of grease underneath again since it got loose, so hoping that didn't mess up the sensor that's down there. He didn't run it after he fixed it, as he said to wait a few hours for the adhesive to dry. Not getting my hopes up.
Well, good luck. That would cause the UL error code though, so maybe it's fixed this time.
Far so good. Guess we'll see. I do very much appreciate all your help.
Sure, no problem. Thank you for using JA.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.